Hi, I'm Deborah Gren here with Kohenet Eni Matan, addressing the question of paradigm shift. Thank you for talking with me today, Annie. I have two questions. The first one is, what does that mean to you, that term, paradigm shift? And the second one is, how do you see your role in it? Because you're certainly playing a role in making that happen.
Whew. Okay, so I want to amend the second statement a little bit, because my belief about the paradigm shift is that it's happened. I didn't make it happen. I'm just I'm experiencing it along with all of us. And what that means to me is that there are ways in which the world has changed. And what we're living through right now in 2020 is the revealing of the ways the world has changed, or rather, in many ways, actually, the revealing of the ways the world has not changed and needs to catch up with the shift that's taken place. So I think about that very often in terms of what was the feeling tone of the old paradigm and what is the feeling tone of the new paradigm. So for me, old paradigm examples. So the old paradigm was ruled by the systems of power that we're seeing struggle to hold on today. White supremacist, capitalist, patriarchal, colonialist. And we're still living in it. It's still part of our lived reality, even though the feeling tone is that that's no longer acceptable. So that's how we know the shift has happened. So some of the phrases that feel particularly resonant with old paradigm are things like no pain, no, are survival mode phrases. So no pain, no gain. Growth only happens outside of your comfort zone. It could be worse. And these phrases were what got us through survival mode. And survival mode was born out of these systems. And now we're moving from survival mode to thriving mode. So the new paradigm, in my sense of it, is that the new paradigm is thriving mode. It's collaborative. It's earth. Our relationship to the earth is radically different than it was. Old paradigm relationship to earth was exploitative, and this, in the new paradigm, it's collaborative. So alternative phrases to those, rather than no pain, no gain, it's actually pleasure and joy and health lead me to thrive. And rather than it could be worse, to say oh, this thing sucks. And I'm gonna allow myself to feel that it's awful and sucks, and have feelings about things that are out of alignment. Own those feelings, feel those feelings, let them move through us, so that we can move towards health and thriving. And so we're looking at a new paradigm that is feminist, and that, where the idea that Black Lives Matter, to have to say that out loud, please goddess, will be silly, because of course. And yeah, it's we feel it. We feel the truths. I believe we are awake. Folks are awakening in waves to these feelings of the truths that now feel universal about the inherent collaborative nature of all lives on the planet, and the ways that the old systemic structures are chafing and need to be released.
Okay, thank you. I'd like to just bring your attention back, however, to the role that I would say you are playing in the larger paradigm shift, and ask you to talk for a minute about the fact, the kind of spiritual leadership you stepped into when you became ordained as a Kohenet, which did not exist until we started practicing in the late 90s. And before that, 2,000 years ago. The fact that you're doing that makes you part of a certain movement, don't you think?
Yes, absolutely. And some say that the paradigm shift, that the date of it when we saw the shift from the patriarchal to a more feminist paradigm was 2012, and I was at Kohenet at a retreat where we talked about this. And okay, so my role, I feel like it's evolved. I didn't really know anything when I was ordained in 2009 in the first class of Kohenet. I'm a Rishona. And over the years, I founded, in 2014, I founded a Jewish community in Toronto called Matanot Lev, Gifts of the Heart, whose focus was creating a space, a safe, and I know like we can't claim a space is safe, but like that was our goal, right? So a brave space, at least, a held space for spiritual practice, folks who felt marginalized in mainstream Jewish spaces. So I particularly have been invested in welcoming multi-faith, multicultural, multi-ethnic families, LGBTQ folks, of which I am one, I'm queer myself, and folks with disabilities. And so those values have been woven into everything I facilitate in and outside of Jewish community. And in particular, I think what I'm learning is that one of my zones of genius is in facilitating sacred spaces where folks feel seen and heard and held, so they can show up, so we can show up authentically in our vulnerability and in our power. And I'm doing that quite successfully. I have an ongoing program now called Living from the Heart. And another big piece of what's awakened in me is my own gift as a channeler of spirit. And so I offer spiritual guidance to folks one-on-one and in ongoing mentorship, and in one-off sessions, one-on-one and in ongoing mentorship, where I'm able to receive information for them that Annie wouldn't know, that comes from spirit, the what's the word, the name, I guess, of like the essence of spirit that I channel is the Empress, sort of inspired by the tarot card. And that's been like amazing in supporting folks, especially intuitives, so that's mediums, psychics, priestesses, witches, in their awakening. So when they're like, I think I can do this thing and it feels scary. Lately, I've been talking about it as our superpowers. So, you know, being a priestess of welcome to your awakening. How can I support you? And that's really what my priestessing looks like today.
Thank you. That's wonderful. And I love hearing you claim every bit of that. Many thanks.
You're so welcome. Thanks for having me. And hi, hi to the folks who are watching this. Much love.